that's that. Next, we're going to go to Isla, and we're going to go Asda's own Isla. Extra special Isla Scotch malt Scotch whiskey. It's single malt Scotch whiskey. Complex and peaty with warming spices and underlying vanilla and fruity tones. Beautifully complemented by a smooth, lingering, smoky finish. If you are lucky enough to look under 25, we may ask you to prove your age. Okay. Expertly distilled with soft Isla water and peat smoked barley, then matured in American cask, originally used for a bourbon to achieve a deeply rich flavor. Okay, that's a very poetic way to say matured in bourbon casks. So this is like these types of bottles. Isla distilleries will sell these. They're not allowed to say within the contract. Not allowed to say who it's come from. Whiskey connoisseurs probably can work it out. I couldn't. It's 40%. It's non-age statement. It's very much, I think, probably a distillery has sold it off and made a quick buck. I mean, probably Bunhaven. I don't know if that's something crazy to say, and right now all the whiskey people are losing their minds. If it is, then, this isn't the channel. But you shouldn't be surprised. This isn't the channel for connoisseurs. It's really smoky, so maybe it's... Oh, it's acidic. Oh, actually, that actually also made my eyes water a little bit. That is not pleasant. That is not pleasant at all. Yeah, it's really... It's like the peat. It's like the barley was rotten and then they smoked it. It's just... There's peatiness there, but there's no subtlety. There's no... Like, it's... There's, like, with bourbon, you should get those, like, dark... I don't know if it's dark chocolate. Maybe it's milk chocolate. Chocolate and caramel kind of influences that you'd associate with a bourbon cask. This is just, like, raw and wriggling and horrible. Yeah, that's a horrible... That's horrible stuff, and I might just throw the rest of that out because I'm not even sure mixing that with ginger ale or anything would save it. I think that's just rancid. Oh, now it's in my body. Oh, okay, one last one because this is one of the longer videos. The reason for this longer video is I was criticised that the last couple of Sips with Stuart episodes were too short. Not criticised in the comments, not criticised publicly, because no, they just WhatsApp me, the cowards. Come at me in the comments section. Come on, let's get this going. There's been a lot of views in this channel recently for the channel, like 50 odd and stuff per video. I do not approve of that. So, Dundalgan, yay! Lidl whiskey, Irish whiskey, single malt, cask master, stout edition, aged in bourbon oak barrels and finished in craft stout barrels. 42%, product of Ireland, and underneath that it says West Cork, so that gives us a good idea. And in the back, indeed, it says distilled in West Cork. So West Cork whiskey, well known for being, let's say, hit and miss, if we're being generous. I don't know why I'm doing this to my body anymore. I'm 38. Okay. So, though, like, well, maybe you don't, but Jameson Caskmates, for example, you get, on the nose, you get the creaminess, you get that kind of sense of the stout. That richness and, I don't know, like, yeah, that just, you just, on the nose, you just kind of feel like you're smelling, I know it's not Guinness that they do it with, like, we'll use Guinness. But, you just get that really lovely stouty kind of sense, and it really rounds the whiskey off, because it's probably quite, Again, other people know better, but it's probably relatively new whiskey that then is just the edges are really taken off it by the cask, the stout cask. This just smells horrible. Kind of struggling to put my finger on what it is. Maybe like moldy fruit. So you know the way like when it start like not necessarily banana, but you know when like fruit really starts to turn, starts to go brown, and it has a little bit of a funk about it. It's kind of that mixed in with like really cheap like dish soap. Like it should smell of like fairy liquid, but the dish soap is so cheap that they probably like watered it down. So on the nose, not great. Oh, oh, that's a finish that just doesn't end. That just keeps on going. Oh, that is really unpleasant. Um, oh, it's like turpentine almost. Not that I've drank turpentine. That was only once. That was at a party. It wasn't. If my mother finds this, it wasn't. I never did that. It was a joke. Yeah, it's really unpleasant. Um, Bizarrely nutty. That might be my palate just being really messed up. Um, but I really get a like kind of a weird, nutty, sickly. Friend of the channel, Gareth, once described something as tasting like baby sick, or maybe smelling like baby sick. That's coming to mind here, I have to say. Oh, poison, to quote Leslie Knope from Parks and Rec. Right, so last drop. This is going to be a good one. And I'm pouring it out of. I'm pouring it off camera for a very special reason. So I'll tell you what the whiskey is, and then I'll reveal the drinking component. So it's a Montana 1889 bourbon whiskey distilled and bottled by Bozeman Spirits in Bozeman, Montana. Am I saying that right? You can comment below. Bozeman? No. Bozeman. I know it's Boise State, but that's spelled different now. So 80 proof, 40% alcohol by volume. According to the government, oh, that's about pregnancy, so that's not appropriate. Or is it? So, we pour it into the receptacle, but that filled up fast. I didn't taste that. No opinions are being made. So I'm going to drink it. This again, friend of the channel, Marion. Getting a lot of shout outs here. Marion and Gareth are getting a lot of shout outs tonight. Maybe other people need to give me gifts and then they'll get shout outs. Yeah. In this fine chalice. Oh, yeah. Big Sky Country, Montana. It's got a wolf on it. It's a leather snake, I suppose. Don't think you get many crocs or alligators in Montana. It's a cowboy boot receptacle. That's where you drink from. It holds a lot more than I thought it did. And so on the nose, the bourbon's not giving me much, I have to say. Whew. Yeah, it's not getting a huge amount of influence, a huge amount of nasal stuff. That was a big gulp. The shoe is significantly cooler than the whiskey. Keep going on. I have to say, these shoes are definitely made for walking. Um, so yeah, really bog standard. Um, some Tasmanian viewer. I recently called the Tasmanian whiskey bog standard to the distiller's face. I meant it as in this is one of your bog standard. You do an awful lot of great things. It wasn't my finest verbal moment. But it feels like a very bog standard bourbon. Sorry, um, there's very little to say about it. To be honest, it's not unpleasant. I mean, of the awfulness we endured other than the rum, this is probably the winner. But I think we can all agree the boot, the boot is the winner. Oh, 18 minutes. Oh, am I not merciful?